Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Before watching this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's start this video. Maritime Law Enforcement Assessment Part 2. According to an estimate by the International Labour Organization, human trafficking, or which under the Coast Guard definition includes forced labor and sex trafficking, is a global crime that affects more than 25 million victims worldwide. This heinous crime occurs in affluent to impoverished areas in the United States and globally. The Coast Guard trains active, reserve, and civilian members in several indicators and in how to report a suspect trafficking even through their chain of command. This notification most often require interagency awareness and decision-making involving international cooperation due to the global nature of the Coast Guard mission. In 2019, more than 13,000 Coast Guard members completed the DHA's Blue Campaign Human Trafficking Awareness Training. First, partners nation coordination. When the Coast Guard identifies potential human trafficking victims, it coordinates appropriate screenings by foreign partners through international cooperation. The Coast Guard provided expertise in maritime law application and policy development related to human trafficking to the Bali process, a 29 countries coordination mechanism, a 49-country coordination mechanism created to address regional responses to people smuggling, trafficking, and committing other transnational organized crime in the Indo-Asia-Pacific region. Second, limiting resources and efforts to alleviate gaps. Although the Coast Guard has identified potential victims successfully, current substantive law limits the applicability of these federal codes in the maritime domain. Under 18 U.S.C. Chapter 77, the application of human trafficking related violation remains limited to land-based encounters and lacks extraterritorial jurisdiction to all perceived scenarios that the Coast Guard could encounter through its 11 statutory mission areas. Some gaps in enforcement include non-United States citizens on United States flag vessel and events involving a United States citizen on foreign flag vessel encountered outside of United States territorial areas. Additionally, the United States lacks international agreement to pursue human trafficking related events similar to encounter drug and migrant repatriation. Currently, the Coast Guard and other DHAs, DOG, DOS, and Department of Labor partners are working together to remove enforcement gaps through the President's Action Plan, a DOG working group on forced labor on fishing vessels, and in DHA's newly released human trafficking strategy. These efforts include the exploration of legislative change proposal to expand the jurisdiction of 18 U.S.C. Chapter 77 violation, creating dialogue with international partners to create new or to expand current bilateral agreements to include human trafficking provisions and international communication protocols. The Coast Guard, through continued and future coordination, is committed to put in place policy and effort toward the eradication of human trafficking not only in the maritime domain but throughout the globe. The Coast Guard is the only United States federal law enforcement agency or military service with both the capabilities and authorities to enforce fisheries regulation across the vast 3.5 sorry, 3.4 million square miles of the United States exclusive economic zone, on the high seas and in the exclusive economic zone and territorial seas of partner nations. Operation to prevent, detect, and suppress IUU fishing require persistent presence of capable enforcement assets and the right mix of authorities to deny vast ocean spaces to bad actors. IUU fishing activity is global in reach and it adversely affects coastal communities by distorting competition and by jeopardizing the economic survival of those whose livelihoods depend upon local fisheries. Actors engaged in IUU fishing often exploit the gaps between governance structures and operate in areas where there is little or no effective enforcement presence. On a global state, sorry, on a global scale, pervasive IUU fishing operations significantly distort market economies and represent a major loss of revenue, particularly to some of the poorest countries in the world. Global losses from IUU fishing are estimated to between 10 US billion and 23.5 billion US per year. The Coast Guard operates under the statutory authority provided under the Magnuson-Stevens Fishery Management and Conservation Act, 16 U.S.C. 1801 until 1891. This act, which amended the High Seas Driftnet Fishing Moratorium Protection Act, directs the United States to strengthen international fisheries management organization and to address IUU fishing and bycatch of protected living marine resources. The High Seas Driftnet Fishing Moratorium Protection Act was amended further in 2011 by the Shark Conservation Act to improve the conservation of sharks domestically and internationally. In addition to assisting partner nations to protect their sovereignty, Coast Guard operations include high seas boarding and inspection, or HSBI, conducted under the authority of Regional Fishery Management Organization, or RFMO, the primary mechanism of fisheries management on the high seas. RFMOs are international regulatory bodies comprising countries with a common interest in the management of fisheries resources in a geographic area. The members may be coastal nations bordering the region or countries that have a fishing interest in the region. Existing and emerging RFMOs cover more than 95% of the world's ocean. Currently, a small percentage of RFMOs include HSBI regimes as a part of the governing convention. Solidified under the recently passed Maritime Safe Act, which is contained within the National Defense Authorization Act of 2020, the Coast Guard supports a whole-of-government approach to improve governance, capacity building, anti-corruption efforts, and criminal justice reforms in partner nations affected by IUU fishing. In addition to at-sea enforcement operations, the Coast Guard supports United States Agency for International Development, DOS, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration capacity building efforts in partner nations by providing advice and technical support. First, United States Navy support. Operations to deter, detect, and disrupt IUU fishing require a dedicated surface presence that the Coast Guard alone cannot provide at the levels needed. To mitigate these challenges, the Coast Guard collaborates with the USN and Indo-Pacific Command to enhance maritime domain awareness, and to assist Pacific Island nations in exercising sovereignty over their resources by merging Coast Guard authorities with DoD resources through the Oceania Maritime Security Initiative or OMSI. Okay everyone, that's all this article today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Until the next one, bye bye.